Let me tell you about a moment a lot of people know way too well. It's late, maybe 11 p.m. You're lying in bed, and instead of sleeping, you're doing that thing where you open your banking app and just stare at it. Not because you're checking something specific, just because the anxiety won't let you ignore it. And the numbers staring back at you tell a story you're tired of living. A car loan here, a credit card balance there, maybe a student loan sitting in the background, like a guest who never leaves. And the worst part? You've been paying every month without fail. You're not irresponsible, you're not lazy, but somehow the debt just stays. Like, no matter how hard you row, the shore never gets any closer. So you Google it, and the internet basically tells you, make more money. Cool. Incredible advice. Very helpful. But what if that's not actually the real solution? Here's something that genuinely changes how people think about debt. Most people believe the size of your paycheck is what determines how fast you escape debt. And yes, income matters, but it's not the main factor. The main factor is how interest is quietly eating your payments alive, and whether or not you know how to fight back. Once you understand that, everything changes. Because the same income, applied differently, can mean the difference between being debt-free in 3 years versus 15. I'm Annie. I've spent years studying the psychology and math behind personal finance. And today, I want to show you something most debt advice completely skips over.
Before we talk strategy, you need to understand what you're actually fighting. Because most people think their enemy is the balance, the number, the total. But the real enemy is time, and what interest does to your money the longer it has access to it. Here's a clean example. Say you owe $6,000 on a credit card charging 22% interest. If you're making minimum payments, roughly $110 a month, you'll spend the next 8 years paying that off. And by the end, you'll have paid close to $4,000 in interest alone on a $6,000 debt. So you didn't pay back $6,000, you paid back $10,000. That's not bad luck. That's math. And math doesn't care about your feelings or your intentions, which is why intention alone never gets people out of debt. Strategy does. You list every debt you have, then you rank them by interest rate, highest to lowest. You pay the bare minimum on everything except the one at the top of that list. That one, you throw every extra dollar you can find at it. Why? Because the highest interest debt is the one draining you the fastest. Every single day you carry it, it costs more. So you eliminate it first. Once it's gone, you take the full amount you were paying on that debt and redirect it, all of it, toward the next one on the list. Let's say you started by putting $250 toward your highest interest debt. Once that's cleared, that $250 doesn't disappear from your budget. It stacks onto your minimum payment for the next debt. Suddenly you're throwing $380 at the second balance, then $500 at the third. The payments grow, the debts shrink faster, the timeline collapses. Mathematically, the avalanche wins every time. But humans aren't spreadsheets. Instead of targeting the highest interest rate, you target the smallest balance first, regardless of what it's costing you in interest. Why would you do that? Because momentum is a real, measurable force in human behavior. Paying off a $400 medical bill doesn't save you the most money mathematically, but it gives you a win, a real, tangible, that debt no longer exists win. And that feeling, it rewires how you approach the rest of your debt. Research has actually backed this up. People using the Snowball Method showed stronger follow-through over time, even when the avalanche would have been technically cheaper, because they kept going. And a slightly less optimal plan you actually stick to will always beat a better plan you abandon. So which one should you pick? Whichever one you'll use.
Most people are just leaking. Money is quietly leaving their accounts every month in ways they've stopped noticing. Subscriptions they signed up for 2 years ago, free trials that quietly became monthly charges, apps running in the background of their financial life, charging $8, $12, $15 without a second thought. Studies have found that households lose hundreds of dollars every single month this way, not to emergencies, not to major expenses, just to financial noise they stopped paying attention to. Now, imagine you do a 30-minute audit of every recurring charge on your account, cancel the ones you don't genuinely use, and redirect even $150 to $200 of that toward your debt. On an $8,000 balance at 20% interest, that extra $200 a month could cut years off your timeline. The same debt that might follow you for over a decade on minimum payments could be gone in under 4 years. No raise, no side hustle, just redirected money that was already yours. The trap nobody warns you about. It's called lifestyle creep, and it's brutal. The pattern looks like this. You work hard, you make some progress, you pay off a card, and suddenly you feel good, lighter. And that feeling is real. You earned it. But then, almost automatically, spending expands to fill the space. A slightly nicer car when the old one still runs fine, a subscription service you've deserved for a while, a weekend trip because, honestly, you've been stressed. None of these things are villainous, but collectively, they refill the hole you just dug yourself out of. This is why high earners go broke, not because they don't make enough, because every income increase brought a lifestyle upgrade that swallowed it whole.
Step 1. Pick your strategy. Avalanche if you're analytically motivated. Snowball if you need wins to stay in the game. Either works. Just pick one and commit. Step 2. Go through every subscription and recurring expense this week. Spend 1 hour on it. Find the leaks, redirect at least $100, $150 toward debt. Step 3. This is the most important one. Every time a debt disappears, do not lower your total monthly payment. Stack what you were paying onto the next debt. Keep the momentum alive. That's it. No complex spreadsheets, no financial degree required. Someone who starts with a $200 monthly debt payment and just keeps stacking can eventually be putting $600, $700, $800 a month toward their final balance. Not because they got a promotion, because they refused to let the momentum die. Look, here's the honest truth about paying off debt. It's not going to trend on social media. Nobody's making a highlight reel about the Tuesday they skipped takeout and paid an extra $80 toward their credit card. There's no glamour in it. But here's what that final payment actually buys you. Not just money. Options. The option to leave a situation that's draining you. The option to say yes to something that actually matters to you. The option to stop making financial decisions from a place of panic and start making them from a place of power. Debt has a way of making people feel like the walls are closing in, like every decision is made under pressure. And the day that pressure disappears, something shifts. So if you're staring down a number that feels impossible right now, you don't have to solve it all tonight. You just have to start. One strategy, one redirected payment, one less balance. And then you just keep going. Because the people who get out of debt aren't always the ones who earn the most. They're the ones who stopped waiting for the perfect moment and just got started with what they had.